Sup everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about two very important characters in Honkai Star Rail. The first being the Imbibitor Lunai and the second one being Fu Xuan. One of them is an imaginary DPS and the other one is a quantum preservation. Now you might be immediately wondering, what the hell do these two characters have anything to do with each other? Well, these videos are mostly designed for people who have a concern with how they want to use their premium currencies. There's really not much to compare between these two characters apart from which one's going to likely service you better or which one is likely going to survive the meta longer. So don't think I'm directly competing these two characters against each other because they obviously do different things. Now with that said, let's talk about the Imbibitor Lunai, which is another DPS unit. Now with Kafka already here, and prior to that we got Blade, and then we got Jingyuan and also Seele. You can really see how Hoyoverse is piling on top of each other more and more DPSs, because there's one thing that most people can agree on when it comes to Honkai Star Rail is that apart from some of the late game content you can do in this game, there's very little that can satisfy your craving for utilizing these powerful units. This is an issue that Genshin has also ran into, so we're not going to dwell on it too much, but another DPS unit, we really have to evaluate where he kind of situates within the current hierarchy of DPS units. It's safe to say that right now it seems Seele is sitting at the top, Blade is a second, followed by Kafka and then Jingyuan. So where is Imbibitor Lunai gonna fall into this? Personally, I believe looking roughly at what he does, it seems that he likely will rest below Seele and could potentially rival Blade for a spot as being the second best DPS currently released to date. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying it concretely, I'm just saying due to his playstyle and his front-loaded damage and kit mechanic, it seems that he is very favorable to players who want to just get the job done, whereas someone like Jingyuan, who is suffering a lot from his back-loaded damage kit, being like you have to wait many turns for him to actually dish out the amount of damage that is worthy of a limited 5-star DPS. Hoyoverse is also constantly learning, as they know that players playing a turn-based game does not like it when you have to limit their DPS options or their DPS timing to a certain number of turns, such as with the Lightning Lord. So they are likely not going to design future characters that are worse than currently what Jingyuan has to offer. Imbibitor Lunai also has an advantage at being the first imaginary DPS unit. And combined with all of that, it's safe to say that for those who have 1, 2, or maybe even 3 DPS, you can still consider pulling for Imbibitor Lunai. But personally, if it's my opinion, I would say it would be a great idea to pick him up if you are still lacking a second carry. Now, yes, if you are waiting to this point of the game and you're still lacking a second carry, there's a very high chance that you were waiting for Imbibitor Lunai to begin with. And for people who have saved every single summon they got since the start of the game and have purchased the monthly pass, congrats. There is a small chance, well, maybe not small, but there is a fair chance that you have to actually get a maxed out E6 Imbibitor Lunai. Now, yes, that is if you saved every single summon, plus you got the monthly pass, and you did every single event up to the current point. But regardless, good luck to you guys if you really want Imbibitor Lunai. Like, on paper, at the very least, he's going to be an insane carry, and it does worry me a little bit with the amount of air quote power creep that is currently happening within the DPS category. The support category has actually remained quite tamed, and while there is disparity, I'm not too worried about supports getting too out of hand. But with the DPS units, it seems like Hoyoverse has kind of lost control on the acceleration of more and more powerful DPS units. But talking about supports, let's get into Fu Xuan. Comparative to Imbibitor Lunai, remember, because this is a comparative video between these two, Fu Xuan's role in the game is going to be a little more flexible, in my opinion, because when it comes to DPS, if you have a character such as Silverwolf, DPS units can become more flexible than they are originally, hence allowing people to build far few DPSs than what would normally be required. But there will be people who will say, well, Walrus, what if I already have Jeopard? What if I already have Luocha? What if I already have plenty of ways to survive, like even have a Bailu? Do I still need to pull Fu Xuan? What does Fu Xuan bring to my account that those other supports cannot? Well, first things first, if you watch my previous videos, Fu Xuan is a consolidation of roles. Now, this is something that we haven't really seen even in Genshin Impact until around the 2nd year mark, where Hoyoverse decided to consolidate more roles into a single unit to allow you to play the game with fewer restrictions, because it's Hoyoverse's job to put obstacles issues to hinder our progress, and it's our job to find proper solutions via characters or artifacts or relics to bypass these issues. So back to Fu Xuan. This character is kind of like a 3-unit mixed into one. She has preservation, abundance, and she even has harmony. So as a support unit, Fu Xuan is actually one of the more ambitious ones released apart from Silverwolf, even though ultimately I do think she's going to land around where Luocha is. Now, the main reason is if you get an E0 free-to-play weapon, Fu Xuan, you're not going to really be able to feel the consolidation of roles. Well, she's going to have a bit of everything, but there will likely be scenarios where you just feel like you have to bring, let's say, another healer, or you're going to have to run her in conjunction with another powerful harmony unit, which kind of in some ways defeats her purpose of being this multi-purposeful unit. But at the same time, don't forget right now, a lot of people are still running double harmony with an abundance unit or double harmony with a preservation such as Jeopard. So then looking back at Fu Xuan, in what scenario would Fu Xuan be worthwhile? I still hold my belief that if you're going for an E1 Fu Xuan, she suddenly becomes more valuable than most of the characters we have released to date. Because the E1 Fu Xuan magnifies her harmony role to a degree where she starts becoming competitive with actual harmony characters, even 5-star harmony characters, while her role being a very clear-cut preservation unit. It seems Hoyoverse is giving these support units better eidolons than DPS units, because up until now, apart from Seele's E2, I don't think any other DPS units has good stat value. Now look at the support units eidolons. I'm talking about the eidolon 1 and 2, the low tier eidolons. The support units actually get better ones stat-wise, which helps them overcome certain obstacles or hard-coded problems. For example, Silverwolf and her 2-turn 1 ult cycle versus a 3-turn 1 ult cycle if you did not get her E1. This is not to say that you have to get them, it's just to say if you want to play these units more comfortably and in a way more efficiently, getting their first or second eidolon is oftentimes going to yield you far better results as if you were to just get one for your DPS units. So for people who watched all the way till the end here, I just want to conclude everything. When it comes to Imbiber de Lunai, if you already have 2 DPS, 3 DPS, getting him really doesn't service your account very much apart from diversifying a different elemental DPS. Now, is he strong? Of course he's strong. The DPSs in this game is just getting a little bit out of hand. But is his E0 S1 going to be stronger than, let's say, a E2 S1 Jingyuan? I don't think so. I think they might start being competitive, which is already a problematic thing to say. But for people who have invested in currently the worst limited 5-star DPS Jingyuan, and you got him to E2 or you got him E1 S1, and you're thinking of getting an E0 free-to-play Imbiber de Lunai to replace him, you might find that power creep has not currently reached that level. But now looking at Fu Xuan, I think she likely will be a more overall better investment for most people. If you're just looking at this from a random statistical point, only you can actually look at your account and devise what is best for you. The other thing about Fu Xuan that I did not mention earlier is if you want to run a full quantum team and you already have Silverwolf, getting Fu Xuan is going to allow you to complete that team. So if you highly value your quantum units and the potential for a full quantum team, being able to force quantum 100% onto the enemy through Silverwolf, then of course Fu Xuan suddenly rises far, far, far beyond what Imbiber de Lunai is going to provide you. But all in all, I do think both of these characters are amazing, and so are the units that are going to be coming next patch, which, like, what is Hoyoverse trying to do with the amount of DPSs they're releasing? I don't know. But it seems like DPS units have a way to captivate a lot of people's heart and souls and wallet. So Hoyoverse is going to keep doing that, and I'm going to be here to evaluate those characters for you guys. So until the next time, I hope you guys stay safe. Peace, peace. Bye.